Hello everybody, my name is Cheryl and this is my channel, Tranquil Stitches. This is my very first attempt at a Stitch With Me video, so it's been quite the challenge trying to get the angle right and trying to get to where I'm comfortable stitching and talking with you at the same time, and it's very challenging. Anyone who does a Stitch With Me video and has the ideal setup is my new hero, because it's been crazy. But we'll see how this works. I'll be working on my map of Hawk Run Hollow, and I'm anxious to get more progress and get this thing done, because I've got another Hawk Run starting for our Stitch Along on October 1st, so I'd rather not have two Hawk Runs going at one time because they're pretty big and pretty daunting. So we'll see how much of this I can get done before the 1st of October. But I'm enjoying every stitch that I put into this. It's just a joy. I have had the best time stitching on this piece. So I enjoyed my first Hawk Run. I did houses as well, and I really enjoyed that as well. They're really good, easy charts. It's just basic stitches, and they're wonderful. So I want to stitch them all. Like Pokemon, I want to stitch them all. I'm using my Stitchy Pop needle, which I adore, and I am just stitching this on 32 count vintage country mocha linen, and I'm using DMC. I do have some fancy floss for the hawk and for the green in the grass here, and I do have some fancy red that I'm planning to use for City Hall and I did use the fancy red for the school. So I did sprinkle in a little bit of fancy floss in there, but the majority of the threads are DMC. So I'm really enjoying this one. I'm right now putting in the blacksmith sign. So that's where I am with that one. I had a wonderful day yesterday. I went to the Village Sampler to meet up with Darlene, who has become a friend of mine. She is Stitch Party of One on Floss 2, and she is just very, very sweet lady. And we decided to meet up at Tudor's Biscuit World and have a biscuit before we went to the shop when it opened. So she and I met there, and when she walked in that door and I saw her sweet smiling face, it was just so wonderful to see her and in person and hug her neck. We had been emailing back and forth and talking back and forth and for so long, and to finally just get to meet each other was just wonderful. And we just talked and had a wonderful visit. And then when we left for the shop, I'm trying to line this up right quick. When we left for the shop, we walked in, and I walked around the corner, and my sweet friend Brenda was there, and she recognized me, of course, but I didn't, I didn't know what she looked like, because we were just at that point email friends. And so she lives about 45 minutes from the shop, and she told me the next time that I came up to the shop to contact her, and she would try to come over and visit, and she did, and that was such a wonderful thing. We the three of us, we laughed, we talked, we had a wonderful lunch together. Brenda's husband, what a trooper. Hi, Fred. He is the sweetest thing. He waited for her and he just let her enjoy her day with us, and he just super sweet couple, and really enjoyed visiting with them. Pat, the owner, was there, and Robin, the lady who works there, just wonderful people. The table was completely full of ladies when we got there. All kinds of stitchers were there, and we got to meet several of the local ladies who come there to stitch, which was wonderful. The pieces that they work on, oh my goodness, just fabulous pieces. We went around the table and everybody looked at what everybody else was working on, and it was just so wonderful to be with people who love what you love and do what you do, and it was really a lot of fun. Wonderful day. I had quite the stash enhancement experience too. And you can, I don't know how many of you know the acronym for Stash Enhancement Experience. Think about it. That is an old acronym that's went around the cross stitch community for years and years and years. And it always makes me giggle when I hear someone saying that acronym in reference to their cross stitch. It's funny. But yes, I did. I will be sharing my acquisitions on my next floss tube. I actually wasn't too bad. I really wasn't. I wasn't too bad. Now Darlene, she just she took advantage of her visit, and I was so happy to see that. She had a wonderful time shopping and picking out fabrics, and so you'll have to tune in to her next video to see what she bought. She got some really beautiful things. It was so hard just not to buy everything. I want to stitch all the things. I do. Everything. That shop has, I mean, just everything. So many models on the walls, just drop dead gorgeous. And the ladies who meet there to stitch, if they finish something, they'll let Pat display what they've stitched. And there were also pieces there that had been entered into different, I'm assuming different county fairs and different competitions, and the ribbons that those pieces won were hanging with them, and it was just awesome to see all of the beautiful award-winning designs there. That was a lot of fun to watch. I mean, to look at and just take it all in, and it was a wonderful experience. There's a little place attached to the building downstairs, and they served hot dogs and sandwiches and drinks, and it was that's where we had lunch. So all we did was just walk outside, literally, and just walk around the corner and down the stairs, and we were there. And everybody there was super nice, and very good service. So it's nice that there was a place to eat. I mean, literally so close. The drive there, it was a 3-hour drive, and I went by myself, and it was the West Virginia Turnpike, which it's a beautiful road, that turnpike, but it is it's very challenging. It's very curvy, and they're really, and you're going around those pretty steep curves at such high rates of speed. And then there are so many 18-wheelers that travel that road. And there's medians, concrete barriers that you have to navigate. And so you have to pay really, really close attention when you're driving that road. You have to concentrate because there have been so many wrecks and so many fatalities on that road. And going into it, I knew that, so I'm always extremely careful when I travel that route. There is a back way that I can go, but living where I do, it just adds about a half an hour to the trip, and it's already such a long trip. So I'd just rather, you know, pay attention and just be very careful and watch what everybody else is doing and travel that road. It's a toll road, so it's $6 in tolls one way. So that trip cost $12 just to drive on that road. Sophie's fussing with Tom. She's not happy about something. He probably breathed or something, and doesn't take much. It's threatened rain here all day, but it's yet to rain. I don't know if we're supposed to get rain or what, but we've had thunder, quite loud thunder as well, and Penny's not happy about the thunder. She does not like thunder, but no rain. The S finished for Smith. Get that anchored down. I hope that you can see what I'm doing and it's not too far off frame. But I have to hold this Q-snap against my body. That's just how I stitch. And that's what's comfortable for me. And right now, Country Stitchers, all of the talk is whether or not you're a floss licker. Yes, Deb, oh goodness, yes, Deb, I'm a floss licker. I've always been a floss licker. I always will be a floss licker. And I absolutely love the comment that someone made on their videos regarding that, about you're just leaving your DNA behind. I think it's hysterical. I doubt very seriously anybody would ever want to clone me, but you know what? If that ever arises, that's not going to be a problem. Because I have them covered. And Liz said, there will never be any doubt as far as who stitched the pieces either. If there's ever any question, and just run the DNA and they'll see that it was actually Liz who stitched them. So really it's a public service. That's the way I look at it. I've got so much to do tomorrow. I'm planning on working on my holiday grand plan, front porch. It's front porch week. I'm going to get out there and try to knock that out. I'm so excited. My son called me today and said that it was a definite. He and his girlfriend and her little boy will be here for that one's got to come out. We'll be here for Thanksgiving. And apparently they're going to stay the week. I am so excited. I haven't seen my son, my oldest son, since we moved back to West Virginia. He lives in Richmond and he didn't get to come home last Christmas. So I'm so excited overly to see him. We message generally every day and video chat. I get to talk to him quite often, but it's just not the same. But he's planning to be here for the week, so I have to get Peggy's ready so that we can accommodate everybody. So that's what's on the agenda, and I'm so glad that the weather is cooling down so that it's easier to go up there and work. There's no air conditioning up there, and I just can't imagine in sweltering heat trying to bleach and disinfect and wipe everything down and wash everything and in that heat. I just that's why I haven't really started anything there, but now I have motivation to do it because my baby's coming. I am just ecstatic about that. He's bringing his girlfriend here for the first time, and it's going to be quite a culture shock. They live in Richmond. So the pace here is extremely slower than it is there, and I don't really know how much experience she has with being in the country. And from what I understand, her son has been in Richmond his entire life, so I think he's in for a treat. This is a very, very good area for kids. There's so much to do for them. They can hike and ride their bike and fish and walk the tracks, and there's just so much for them to do. I say walk the tracks very safely. I grew up around railroad tracks, and I do not know the first person to ever get hit by the train. So the train, as you know from listening to my videos, gives you plenty of notice when it's coming around the bend. And it's extremely loud. And most of the tracks here, there are some curvy spots, but we don't walk in curvy spots. We walk on the straight stretches of track so that you can see. long way in both directions. And the sounds of the train just echo in these hollers and valleys. So you can hear it way before it gets to you. Oh my goodness, I went one too far again. I'm trying to write this word the way I think it should be written instead of the way it's written. Need to slow my roll here a little bit. It's me. So I let Brenda try a Stitchy Pop needle yesterday. She is hooked. She loved it. She said to her it felt like she's stitching faster, and it really does feel like you're stitching faster with them because it gravitates to the hole. Now see, I'm stitching this T the way I think it should be stitched. I better double check. Okay. I think I'm good. So I let her keep one to use, and I definitely wouldn't doubt that she's going to be getting some more. I don't necessarily like them on even weave. I've tried them on even weave, but to me, where the holes are closer, they're just closer on even weave, and I think that a very slick fine point needle works better for that. Rochelle had sent me some Pat's Favorite needles. They've got a gold eye and they are extremely smooth. They're, I would say, those and Bowen's are pretty close to being the same as far as how they glide through fabric, but I actually think Pat's Favorite is a little smoother. And so I'm really enjoying using those needles on my even weave projects. You know, it is all about the right needle. It's all about the right needle. I was really struggling with Monopoly on that 18 count Aida until I found the right needle, and now it doesn't bother me at all. I was using the wrong needle. Size matters, and the general shape, how sharp the needle is, all that matters. And if you can find that perfect fit, because they're not all the same. Needles are not all the same. You can't use just any old needle and expect it to be the ideal choice for what you're working on. I love petites. I do, and it's been an adjustment to get used to the longer needles that I've been using, the Stitchy Pop needles and the Pat's Favorite, because historically I have preferred petites. It would be nice if they would make petites in those two. I have that option. But the right needle makes all the difference. To me, anyway. Let's see. Fourth one up. I really hope you can see what I'm doing. And if you can, I hope you're stitching along with me. Yeah, I've got a lot to do tomorrow. I've got bags to make, and I've got bags to make that I need to make. There's a couple that I need to make for gifts, and there are a couple that I need to make for barters, and so that's what I'm going to be concentrating on this week, more so than making them to sell, but I will have a couple new ones for that, but mostly I'm going to be working on bags that I have commitments for already. Smith is done. So this is where I'm going to leave you for the first video. It's about, I think it's a good stopping point. And I'm going to continue to work on this evening. Hopefully, well, Diana and I will have a stitch date later, and I can get this filled in. And I may have a new start. There is a chart that I really want to start, and I may actually do that if I can talk her into doing a stitch along with me. But until we meet again, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you stitching with me, and happy stitching.